to do an introductory today a little bit about chakras coming from a little bit of my point of view. Everybody's got an idea of things like chakras, and everybody's got different sounds and different whatever. So you just have to find, of all of these modalities that are becoming so acceptable, you really have to be intuitive, and you have to see what is a frequency spirit match for you. And if it's not, then don't judge it, right or wrong, good or bad, move on, because there's something somewhere for you that is what I call a spiritual tool. Tools are important. The tuning forks is a tool. The affirmations for the prayer list is a tool. We use prayer as a tool. And tools is what is called points of contact between the invisible and the visible, right? So it's an important part of the whole process of being able to have this wonderful access of the wonderful things that we want to do here and accomplish and to see done in that way. So chakras, and I'll go through the whole thing. The word is what? Sanskrit word, and it merely meant by those who were visual and audiobuoyant, I guess they call them, was able to see them like wheels or discs spinning. Discs or wheels spinning. And from that became the word chakra, which means a wheel. And every time I talk about this in my Bible background, I always think about Isaiah's wheel in the middle of the wheel. And it was amber, or which was orange, or gold, sacral color. So I plan to do eventually some real study on that chakras are mentioned in the Bible, whether they want to believe it or not. All these things are in there, but it's differently coded to keep it from the hands of those who would totally so redefine it and misinterpret it that it would get lost. So they did have access to certain things, which they did, as far as I'm concerned, mess up in translation, but there's some things that was held back beneath the symbol, was held in the out of range level, which we call meta, beyond physical, or the spiritual. So there's just a part of what is truth to us today that has been set off from the limits of the outer world and remain able to them who are seekers to go and to find the key, how to open up that which is in all of us. All of us have great mysteries and knowledge and intelligence that we can't even fathom with this third dimensional human brain that we have, and therefore it has to come in waves, or it has to come into glories or dimensions that we can take at a time. And that's called progression. Progression. To be progressive spiritually means the ability to keep changing the container so more can come into the container and be contained. Now, is that a tongue twister? It really isn't if you think about it. If I keep the same container, say 8 ounces, and I have 6 or 7 ounces of knowledge, I have no problem containing that because I got a container that'll contain it. But if I get over here and I've changed my container, my consciousness is more expanded and whatever, then that means I can take in more than I took here. So just think of the chakras. Each one is allowing more and more of the authentic self to manifest through the different phases or energy centers, or, oh my God, I didn't call them so many things. I like the energy data bank, one of my favorite, to bring it into 21st century language. You know, that's the way we talk now, data banks and all that computer stuff. So it's important that we update some of this language into the language of our time. And that's what's missing in religion, is nobody did update the language, and they're still talking the language of 4,000, 6,000, 2,000 years ago into a different time in which language itself has changed and morphed itself. And the same words that meant a certain thing then does not mean that now. You know, you're so bad. That's a compliment, believe it or not, when somebody says, you're really bad. You go, really? You know, we'd have knocked somebody down who would have said that to us back in our day. But somebody made it popular and made it cool. And there's so many of those words that have been so changed because we have our thinking changes in that way. So I'm just going to give you some of my ideas about the chakras. There are 7 major chakras, although there's many, many more chakras in the Nada systems. I've read so many different numbers of things, I don't know who to believe anymore. I just read there's 144 chakras, which is kind of an interesting number. If you think of the 144, that would make somewhat sense to me. I know you got them in your fingers. I know you got them in your hands, your feet. There are subtle chakras, they're called. But the main major chakras are the 7 chakras that run up the spine of the body. Now, it also does not run up the spine of the body, but it shoots through the spine to give itself a front and back of the chakra. And a lot of people are not recognizing that, and I think it's important that people just don't work on the back, because that's all they're teaching is the root chakra is at the coccyx and the sacral and the whatever. That's back terminology. But also we have energy centers that runs down, not up. And if you don't do both of them, you're not balancing the energy. And everybody you know about the caduceus. Everybody knows what I mean when I say the caduceus. I'm talking about the medical sign with the serpent going up it that doctors use and have no idea what they're using. It's called the caduceus. It is the sign of the American Medical Association. And it is older than Egypt. And it was back in the time in which they believed that energy was a serpentine energy, not so much a snake. I think we symbolize it as a snake when we talk about these different energies. But for instance, we all don't realize most of the time, I doubt if we do at all, that we have a reptilian part of our brain. I mean, how often do you think about the reptilian part of your brain, which is the oldest historic part of your brain, called the RX complex factor of the brain. But we don't even deal with that because that, in our evolution, that was so far back that we evolved, into the mammalian level and the frontal cortex and all of these different parts that has made us emerge as the human we are. And so things unfold is what I'm telling you. You can't receive what you're not in the place to receive. I want you to say that with me. I cannot receive what I'm not in the place to receive. I cannot receive what I'm not in the place to receive. That's good. That's good. That imprinted that into your consciousness more than me just saying it and you listening. That's why repeating is so powerful. It is like a sound going on a piece of a sheet metal with some sand on it, and the sand. Wow. Okay. Here we go. Is Mercury still in retrograde? That's what
It is now.
It sure feels like it might be. Sorry about that. These are new gadgets we're trying to figure out. Okay, are we good? All right. So things unfold themselves based upon the level of consciousness as a container in which it can be received. That's why the old famous adage, which is out of the Bible, which people don't know, is that you cannot pour new wine into old wine sacks. It won't contain it. It won't hold it because there's such a mismatch between the new and the old container that they cannot connect at all and have a relationship. So these are different centers that run in the body. I feel like I would like to say, this is a little bit of a lesson, but I can't help myself, for energy workers and some energetics people, but and some of you here know that I'm getting ready to talk about the 3 energy channels. And I think you need to understand that you have 3 major energy channels that run through the body. And to become a human being, we call ourselves spiritual, but just as spirit has become energy, so has spirit become electrical. Now, it doesn't say that it's not spirit, but spirit has become something else in a more dense frequency and changed its form. And that's why we're doing all this shifting from language that served at one phase of our journey, but does not necessarily fit right now. And one of the reasons is because the word spirit has been so owned by religion. There are certain words that trigger the part of the brain that has stored your religious teaching, whatever it is, how small it is or how large it is, it doesn't matter. And you say, well, I never had any. I was raised in an atheist home or whatever. It doesn't matter. You live in America. And you are influenced every day somehow on some political or governmental or corporate decision that has been made a part of the collective. And the same little antennas that are around the atoms of your body are the same little antennas that's around theirs, and therefore you're picking up a lot of their stuff that you don't even know about. And this is why we need, and I feel Spirit is coming to me to tell you this, that you need to spend more time protecting yourself right now in the next months. How? Get the right stones around you. Wear them. Get you an amethyst. And there's others. Some of you that are into things like essential oil, if that's your thing. If you're into tuning forks, we have a crystal tuner that people use to clear space that's been very successful for years. We probably have sold as many of those as we've sold anything, as a little crystal tuner that clears space of negativity. Tools. Unfoldment. So the three channels are this. And unfortunately, I wished I had a better English words, but we don't have English words for certain Eastern philosophies and principles. We just don't have them. The first one is what runs down the center of your body. That's why you got a right and you got a left for the right brain. You got a right side of the body. Sometimes my left body always feels more different than my right body. You know, any issues I have is on the left. Sometimes it's right. But different things happen on different sides of the body. There's a reason that we are made like this. All of this speaks. Have you seen Da Vinci's Man of Poor Proportion? All those ratios and golden means and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've been put together very geometrically. I'm just going to take my time with this because I don't want to rush it. So as I'm trying to use more of the word energy over spirit, I still mix it because I'm living in two worlds. If I use energy all the time to somebody who is not opened up to that concept and I use it, then they think I'm not in alignment with their system. But maybe if I use spirit, that's something that was familiar to them and I have reconnected with them again. But as spirit becomes, oh man, how do I do this? As spirit becomes the thing that keeps you alive, and I'm not going to go through that. I just did that a few weeks ago, the difference in life and live. But if you want to live, and you want to live, well, you're in your body, right? And the only thing for that to do is for spirit to come in and interact with the magnetic fields and the gravitation fields and all of the fields, little fields that run around every atom of your body. When spirit hits it, it creates an electrical charge and you become electrical or alive. And now life has a living in the physical realm. And that's what the body has the most contribution to make in this whole story, is that one, it's a container. It is a step-down communicator. Can bring feelings, emotions, and thoughts and visions into the physical through the throat chakra. It's a very physical thing there, very physical. So we are basically, and you can study this and look it up if you have, but you'll find out that most of us run electrically. The nerves, all of those things are, you ever had those kind of tests where they check the heart and they check different parts, the legs, circulation, and they do it by using electrical equipment. So we're electrical beings. So down the middle is a energy shaft that is called the sushumna. What a word, huh? Now, I can translate that into an English idea of prana tube. Prana is breath. When you breathe up the center of your body, you are breathing prana or spirit or breath through the body to give life so it can be translated into living at the cellular level all the time. This is why breath is so powerful and so important that you make sure that you are aware many times of the day of raising and changing your breath rhythm. This is something you can do anywhere, anytime, standing in line at the grocery store, driving, whatever, but always do what HeartMath calls what is it called? Heart-centered prayer or breathing.
Heart-centered, imagine that.
That's it, I'm trying, heart-centered. Yeah, here at heart-centered, that we would be heart-centered. What a great idea in that way. So you have this neutral tube that runs up the center of the body. Then there are two more, because you know you can't be electrical without polarity. And don't confuse polarity with separation, or even the word divide. Divide is not always a bad thing. When you divide the pie, that's a good thing. Everybody gets a piece of that pie that is available to them, right? So these plugs here have to have a male and a female, is what I'm telling you. I'm not an electrician. I can't totally diagnose it down to its science, but I just know that there are these different wires, different colors, and it's how they're connected up that causes something to give a charge that translates itself into something that we can use as light in this room. Now, I'll give you an example. The old faith thing is God can do it, Jesus can do it, all we have to do is just pray and ask God to do it. So let's say we have a need here and we start praying for God to do it, but we're not connected. We're not connected to the thing that could allow the answer to be manifested because we don't understand how this all works. And that's what we want to talk about a little bit, is to understand this thing, not from such a spiritual, abstract, blind faith idea, but let us do it with understanding. And that's why Jesus said, I'm the way. That's the most important thing, is the way. Don't you want to know the way to have good health? Don't you know the way how to have a happy relationship with yourself or with somebody else, or a way with whatever it is you're trying to get to, and all you're doing is pray, God, do it. That's coming in here and saying, let there be light, without turning the switch on. It's in that simple little thing, turning the switch on, that causes the manifestation that we enjoy for a couple of hours. And that's why don't let the ego mind make healing such a complicated thing. Keep it simple. I know I've caught myself into a thing now where I've just got to sort it out. I'm so confused. I've been to too many people. I've bought too many supplements. I got this going on, and this is helping that, and this is making this worse. It's a balance act. And I think here at HeartLight we need intimacy to be able to even discuss some of these things and help with one another with some of these things. I think this is really the deeper part of what community is. So the male energy goes from the base, the perineum. You're sitting on your first chakra, actually, if the truth is told. And it is where this all kind of comes together, and it goes up. Now you got the neutral, and then you got the Pingala. I don't know what else to tell you. It's male. So up the neutral goes the male. How about that? And the male is following these meridians, okay, up the spine. But he's alone is not much good, mothers. Sorry. Well, I know there's other things now, but in the course of nature and things like that, usually you need a male and a female to produce something. So he can't do it by himself. So he needs another aspect of himself, which is the feminine, which is called Ida, just I-D-A. So you got Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. Now, this doesn't mean a lot to me, but if you understand that as the Pingala is moving and following the channel, it crosses the Sushumna, or the middle one, and so does she cross. And all three of them cross right at this point at the coccyx. Now, I know I was giving you an energy lesson. I really didn't plan to do that because I got to stop. I got some things to do here. You know, this is just who I am, folks. Take it for what it is. For some reason, I think you're going to find this helpful for you. So, he, she, and the neutral, negative, positive, and neutral, all come together and cross each other. Now, we know that where energy crosses energy builds energy. That's not hard to understand, is it? If I take something like these tuning forks, but if I put it on top and keep putting them on top, I'm building right here where they're crossing. Okay? So energy crossing energy creates energy. Now, when energy is created enough by changing its spin, changing its spin, then at some level that we don't understand, we just know in some energetics it happened to be around 3, at the most 6 times of making energy cross energy, like this, at the coccyx, energy crossing energy, that at that time, at some point, it seems to catch a bigger energy field than the personal energy field of the person. So now they're connected up with the big energy field. Are you with me? And that's where the chakras come in. I really am talking about chakras. Because where energy crosses energy and causes the spin, produces a chakra. That's how you have a chakra, is because where these 3 energy channels are crossing each other and building on each other, that they're catching what is called, I'm going to give you another big word, torsion, T-O-R-S-I-O-N, energy, which merely means energy that follows the spiral. That's why anything you do, you put a tuning fork out, you put a pendulum out or whatever, it's going to go round. Remember when the Tibetan thing was so popular about spinning? Everybody was spinning in the 90s. There's something very powerful about those, I forget what they're called, somebody might remember what dances. It's a part of the Islam mystery. The Sufis, yeah, the Sufis that do it. But it's an extremely powerful way that they just spin themselves right up into another dimension. I'd hate to see me trying to spin right now. I'd have to work on that, Sandra. I don't think I want you to be my partner. So, chakras. What you're going to learn about chakras is each one of them holds a little bit of your story, past and present. And today we're going to experience our bowls by using certain mantra, chakra, sound, and color. The color is quite obvious, so I don't have to tell you what the color is. Each one of these represent color. I will give you a sound, and they all are pretty close to each other. The root chakra is just Lam, L-A-M, Lam. And we're just going to do that together and just with the bowl. And then we'll go to the next one. If you're into mudras, how many know what a mudra is? Very powerful mudras. So like the first chakra mudra is this. Second chakra is this. And mudras are no ways of connecting us into the invisible part of ourselves. So there's a mudra. I won't give that to you right now, but I do want you to do the sounds with me. So let's all get comfortable in our seat. If bowls in any way are a little irritating to you, I don't know that that's not a spiritual thing. I won't say a good or bad thing. But if things you don't like them, your first reaction, I invite you to hold the neutral with it a little bit and see what is it waking up in you. See, it may not be the bowl, it may be what the bowl is connecting with that is dissonant in your energy sound body. Well, I didn't like that. I'm never going to do that again. I didn't feel good about that. I didn't, blah, blah, blah. That's the ego's world and language. You got to press through that and follow the spirit, the spiritual mind, the higher mind, the cosmic mind. All right, let's take a deep breath. Lam. This is the Muladhara in its own language, which means survival, how we are grounded to Mother Earth. So not only does the energy go up, but it goes and splits at the perineum, goes down the right and left leg into the feet, and then into the under chakra, which is the connection to Mother Earth. So there's a lot can go on here with these things. It's an art to use sound. And this is something that I just thought, why keep it separate here at HeartLight? Let's bring sound into HeartLight. And I've certainly brought HeartLight into sound, no doubt about it. All right, here we go. Together. One more time. Now we go to the sacral. The sound is Vam, V-A-M, Vam, and it is the color of orange. It is sacral. It is a place of creativity. The third is a solar plex. It is yellow. And it is willpower. It is a place of our relationship with ourself, our self-image. And then sound is Ram, R-A-M, Ram. And of course, the next is the heart and the anahata. The anahata in Sanskrit, and is the place of loving relationships. Now, we'll go much deeper into these meanings than the general things that I'm giving you, but it's important. Here we go. The heart. Yam. Yam. Next is the throat chakra, the place of expression, of expressing our truth. The sound is H-A-M, hum, hum, or ham. We'll just go ham, like a ham, only a little shorter A, hum, rather than ham, okay, hum. And the color is blue. Help me out. Finally, the third eye. Third eye. Got two purples here. We don't use this. All right. This is Om, like in the Om, only it's A-U-M, Om. Om. It is intuition and wisdom. It is the ajna. Let's go. This one has a seventh one to it, so let's just do it. It is the crown chakra, and it is a spiritual connection to our higher chakras, and it is Ang, A-N-G. How would you say? Ang, 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 Ang. Wow, that's different. I don't know that one very well. All right, just do something. Make a sound. I don't care what you do. See if you feel any particular place in your body in which you're directed to right now. Where does your consciousness go in your body? For sound is a carrier of consciousness. Wherever your consciousness is, send sound. And I'd like to close with this little special bowl up here. This is a Flower of Life bowl, but it's also a 528 hertz, which is one of the most famous hertz in the world today is 528 hertz. It's the love hertz. It's one of the most used ones in Soul Energetics is the 528 hertz. So let us all tune into the love in our hearts. And first of all, I want to give you permission to do your best to love yourself, just as I am in this moment. It is in your power of choice to choose how you want to truly see yourself and what kind of relationship do you want with you. Then bring in your partner or intimacy in your life. If you have someone that you are sharing on an intimate level of the second chakra, sexually, you want to send unconditional pure love into that relationship. Now send love into your solar plex in the form of golden yellow light. Up to the heart, the color green, and blue in your throat, allowing your true self to express and to speak your truth, for it's only your truth that shall set you free, not the truth of another. Third eye, opening your eye beyond to enlightenment beyond all illusion and appearance. Reminding yourself that it is not always as it appears to be. Then arrive to the crown and that white light. See it spinning right on up and connecting to your divine spiritual source, whatever you choose that to be or what you choose to call it. Breathe in slowly and exhale. Feeling very centered right now. Everything circulating energetically, crossing over at the right points, causing that spin that holds health, prosperity, and all the wonderful attributes of the divine are seated in that vortex.
Your